Alright, welcome back to another Roland TR-8S tutorial. In this video I'm going to show you how to connect the Boss RC-505 to the Roland TR-8S and use it to create external loops that free up channels on the TR-8S itself. The first thing I'm going to do is I'll show you connectivity between the units, and then we'll get into settings on each unit, and then we'll get into how to capture loops, and then wrap it up with any afterthoughts. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope we all get something from this. So first off, I want to show connections from the TR-8S. We'll start left to right. The headphones are empty. My mix out left and right are going into the DJ mixer right now, so that doesn't play a part in any of the looping. This is straight to mixer, not going through the RC-505. My assign out 1 and 2, I'm sending left and right out to the instrument in left and right. That is controlled by this volume right here. And then next on the Roland TR-8S are the external in jacks. I have left and right stereo pair coming in, and those are coming from the line out or master out of the RC-505 in stereo. Now you can do this in mono. Just use assign 1 and just run your left mono, and I'll show you in the settings how you would adjust for that. Up to you. Next, I have the MIDI in cable coming into the TR-8S, and it's coming out of the A300. The only thing I have the A300 doing right now is playing the instrument channels on the keyboard to allow a little more playability and more velocity control. And that's all this does. Next, the MIDI out of the TR-8S goes to the MIDI in of the RC-505. The USB I generally have going to my DAW or to the MX1 and running it as one of the USB channels on there. And power. Anything different on the RC-505 would be I have the mic in going through this, so what you're hearing me say now is running through the looper as well, so I can add effects like a reverb or a guitar to bass sound to get those bass lines. There's of course a chorus, just stuff to mess with that we could see in this video. Anyway, I have the mic going in here. This is where the volume control for the mic is, and here's your output level. That's all that's different about the RC-505 than this. Otherwise, these are creating a loop by going assign out to the input, and then out of the RC-505 back into the external in of the Roland TR-8S, and having a separate control volume for everything coming off of here. First, we're going to go into settings on the TR-8S to get that ready to go. So the first thing you want to do, if you want to follow along, is get yourself a blank pattern. I chose 808, coming from the 808 state, and this being, you get it. Anyway, 808 is what I chose. I keep that one blank for any kind of idea patterns and kits, and I'll copy those off if I like what I'm doing. But that's just between me and you. First off, you want to go to kit, and you can get a blank kit, or your blank kits are going to be an 808 standard kit unless you've downloaded Eric's default backup and you've wiped everything clean. I've created one with some sounds to show you how we could do the loopers right here, and I've also created 2 kits that everything except for the bass drum and snare drum is a run up all the white keys, I believe, in a C major scale. with another one that is a drop down an octave, like you can hear. So it's just the same sample pit, course tuned up throughout the keys. Anyway, I created a kit just for that. One for the highs so you can jump back up. And then this one just has a variety of things that I can show you how we're going to loop, and for the sake of settings. Since you're starting with kit here, we'll go first into the kit menu settings and get that squared away, and then we'll get into our utility menu settings. So with this in mind, go ahead and hold shift and push kit to get into the kit menu. You can keep holding shift and scroll until you get to output, or actually external in would be another one. You want to make sure of, if you don't want to sidechain it and you've been doing that with kits, check it out. I'm not sure if you go nothing, yeah, just goes through everything and triggers. So make sure your depth right here is on 0, so you're not sidechaining the looper coming back in. If you feel you need to boost it, you can. I keep the gain at 0. Pan, everything else at 0 for now. Make sure that's your external ins, and then head on over to, hold shift and head on over to output. This is where if you're going to assign what instrument goes to the RC-505 loop station. You're going to do this by pushing enter, and then by default you'll see everything's going to be on mix. So you have your bass drum is on mix. Since I have stereo going out and I want to run this in stereo, I'm going to choose assign A. There's A, B, C for each pair of assign outs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That sends out the stereo. If you're going to do mono, choose assign 1 and just have your mono cable going. I'm doing assign A, and instead of hitting enter when you've assigned that instrument, go ahead and push the button for the next instrument and bring that one to where you're assigning as well. I've preset all these just to show you you can push right through all your instruments and change your assignments right away, and it speeds up the workflow. Once everything's changed, go ahead and hit enter again to back out of the assignment. And the external in, of course, you want going through the mix. You don't want to send that back through another assign out too, unless you want to get crazy looping. The mutes don't matter, controls don't matter. I think everything else is good. If you want to do colors of your kit, you can. So there's your kit menu. Hit kit to get out of that, then go ahead and hit utility to get into there. This one you're going to be doing a few more adjustments. We'll go through them one by one, but first you want to hold shift and go to sync tempo. Once you see sync tempo, go ahead and let go of shift. Make sure tempo sync is set to auto. Sync out is on. And I think I just have these on by default, but the receive, start, stop, and then don't worry about your MIDI device ID at this moment. You will not need it to get started. If you want to get deeper into your MIDI channels, that's on you. I have Omni mode on because it's really only these two that are talking, and this one's still taking the keys, but it's not passing it over. I have Omni mode on to make easy connection right now. This will work for now. If you get a more sophisticated setup, you might have to start assigning channels and doing a bit more programming. Leave your pattern channel and your kit channels. And instrument notes where I did the assigning of the keys, you could do that. I showed you in another video. USB MIDI through on, that doesn't matter. We're not doing any MIDI or USB soft through. You could do on, so it doesn't. If you wanted to assign anything to further on, you could. Sending program changes, edit data, and nudges I have off. And receiving program change, edit data, those are default on. I just leave on. There's nothing, no need to change any of that. So, going through all that, I think we go on to external in here. And this is where you're going to choose if you've gone MIDI or mono or stereo. Hit enter and choose which one you're doing. And then that should be it. That's all for the TR-8S settings. We're going to go ahead and move on to the RC-505 settings here. Go ahead and push utility to get back out of that. I keep it on instrument. This way we can see whatever's playing. So on the RC-505, I think that should be good there. We'll zoom in a little bit for the menu diving initially. Make sure you get onto a memory that is clear. Whatever you happen to be, there's many empty ones for users to use. Get on there. You should know your 505 if you have one. If not, watch further videos strictly on this. They're coming. Anyway, set up your input effects, your track effects. Get your levels all nice where they sound good. And then go ahead and get into your system menu. That'll be hitting the system button. And first you should see LCD contrast. You should have all those preferences really set, but we're going to go through and I'll show you what to use in the different settings. All these other ones don't matter. They're just really personal preferences that you might have with your 505 and how you like to use it, but they have no direct effect of the communication between these two items. So I will keep that up to you to decide how you do a lot of these other ones. But for now, you want your input source to be stereo, unless you're going to do the mono with the mono on the instrument coming in. It will also mono your mic. As you could tell, you could hear that. Switch over to stereo mono. It does both channels, both inputs. So choose what you want. Arrows over. You want the input line out on. After your USB settings, you will come to MIDI. I kept the receive channel at 1. That was the default, and that's what works. Omni's on, so the channel doesn't really matter. And I left this as default. The send channel is the same as the receive channel. And then you want to make sure your MIDI sync is set to auto. I think there's auto or internal. Make sure it is in auto. And then your sync source is the MIDI cable. So you want to receive the syncs, the tempo, all that stuff from the TR-8S. Next, don't worry about the program change out. And then the last setting is a factory reset. Do not hit right when you're on this option. Back up a couple, and then you could go ahead and hit right, and then write it to that memory. I think it just overwrites the system settings. I don't think it matters what memory. But next you are going to go into your memory settings. So this is your memory settings. You sort out your levels. These are all personals. Tempo you want coming from the MIDI. This is where you would select. You can choose also, just MIDI. It didn't give me a choice. Next are personal preferences. These don't matter. Phones out. Overdub mode. Something that could make a difference to you now, or to be aware of, depending on how you like to use your RC-505. But I notice with a lot of multi-instrumentalists that are playing live instruments, or beatboxers who are creating their loops live, the record overdub record action is the way to go, because you hit the button once to record, and then next time you hit it, you can do an overdub. Since most loops are coming in live, if you stop playing, you're not going to keep adding to it until you keep playing. That doesn't work so well for sequenced patterns and loops, because sometimes it will catch a snippet of the note or the hit again that's on the first step when it loops back around in an overdub because you don't hit quick enough. So what I find to kind of go around that is I choose record play. So now when I hit the first time, it starts recording my loop. When I'm ready for it to stop recording and end the loop, I hit the play button again and it goes to play instead of overdub. After playing, I could hit again to add more to that channel if I want, but that way seems to work best for myself with a drum machine or some kind of rhythm machine providing sequenced loops. So this is how I keep it. All these, the quantize, I choose measure. That way, even if you hit the stop record before the end of the loop, it's going to complete the loop quantized with the previous loop and end it out that way. Your loop length, keep auto. This is where you choose what channels or what tracks would start when you hit all start. You can have only a few of them assigned and keep some that start only on their own. And this is important because you're setting it up that when you hit start and stop on the TR-8S, it will start and stop the playback on the 505, not the recording, just the playback. I'm still looking into how to get it to do the recording. I might have something figured out. I'll post later about it. Anyway, keep doing your arrows because you got to go down each track, and what you would do is the little circle means it's included, the line means you are taking it out of the all start command. Same thing with all stop, arrow through all your tracks. Fade times, target tracks for playback. This one is the important one. Assign one switch you want to make sure is on, and then your assigned source, you want the sync start stop. It's probably going to be something else. I can't remember, I already have this one set up, but it'll be not sync start stop. You want to scroll till you find that for your source, and then go to your target and you want to scroll to find all start stop. Okay, after that, that's all you need in your memory settings. So go ahead, hit right and right again, and then you should be good. Now I'm going to quickly go over the track edit settings that I would set it up for something like the TR-8S, or how I'm setting it up. What I do is I end up using 1 and 2 for like kick and snare, and then hats and percussions, and I can add more of the percussive stuff in there. I'll do 3 and 4 for melodies, or maybe 2 different bass lines that I don't want playing together, and then the 5th I'm leaving for the vocal microphone to add what I want to through the mic. So quickly, you hit edit, and it's going to be on the first one. Then you can start going through your options. I don't do reverse. I keep the level there, pan, default, one shot off. Now one shot's good if you just want, every time you hit it, it plays one through the loop and stops. That's up to your personal preferences, but make this decision now before you get into playing. It makes things easier. But if you're not sure, you'll get it. I keep track effects on. Play mode is in multi. That means this track will play with other tracks. There's multi and there's single. So single, if you play that one, anything else that is a single will not play. So if I have 3 and 4 as singles, so if I hit 3 and I go single, 4 is single, 2 is multi, 1 is multi, 5 is multi. So these 3, 1, 2, and 5 will all play together at the same time. 3 and 4 will not play at the same time. So I can make a melody on 3 and a melody on 4. When I hit 3, it plays, and then when I hit 4, as soon as the loop ends, 4 starts, 3 stops. That's what that does. Start mode's immediate, stop immediate. I do free measure on all my channels. And you notice that when you get to your setting, you can hit the edit button for the track you want to edit, and you will do the editing. Nice quick workflow to remember, so you're not doing one whole channel and then moving to the next channel, edit. Don't do that. Waste of time. Anyway, I keep them all free. That way they're not binded by the first loop length. What that means is the first loop you record, say I do a 1 measure loop here of just a kick drum, okay? I don't have to be stuck doing 1 measure, 1 measure, 1 measure, 1 measure. I can make these any length of measures or number of measures I want, and it stops when I hit the stop button for the loop, and then it just loops those in with it. So if you want more intricate bass lines or melodies that travel across more than 1 measure, that's what you would do. You'd keep this free so this could keep its little 1 bar kick and hat and snare rhythm going, and then you can have your melody travel across a few sounds. That's why I would do free. All right. Try not to waste time here. Loop sync, you want to keep on, and tempo sync, make sure it is on. That's all for your edits. When you're all done, hit right. Okay, everything's now set up. So with everything set up and ready to play, everything goes through the 505 now. As you'll see, I have all the volumes up and all the, like so. So I have a kick, snare. I have the same, as you can see, bass C warehouse across the 3 tom, and I just did a, just a quick C chord. So that way you got something fun to play with in a loop that you can add stuff, and then some more percussion, the shot and the hat, or shot and clap. Then my cymbals, and then these are 2 loops that I was going to show you how to sample. So now that everything is set up, we have everything running through the looper, we can start sequencing patterns and looping them into the RC-505. So if you turn your volumes up, and then we could start with a, our closed hat sound. So our closed hat is, right? So there's our closed hat. We want to get that into a little, just a quick little rhythm like that. And we can start playing it. Let's get the snare out. So we got, all right, we got that. So okay, so that picked up the mic, so I have to turn the mic down. So they seem to line up here. So now you got your hats. You could take these out of the equation, or you can, even get in there and get in with some subs. So now you got that kind of added in if you want to. I got that. Sorry about the microphone click. Know that in the future, if the mic picks up me hitting the pad, I'm not going to edit just for that. So let's get the, a bass going. Not sub. Okay, we'll just get a quick. So now you got those going. If you want the snares in there. Okay, now we got that, and we could start playing around with the. So we could do something like that with our toms, and we can run it longer than just this one measure. I'll show you how. Not like that. Hold on. Maybe we could add a little chorus or a reverb to these, but not the mic. Here you go. As you can see, you can start building quite a bit with these all you want. And then say I want to go play with a different kit. I just hit kit. Let's get some low brass in there. As you can see, you can get pretty. As you can see, you can get pretty loopy with it. Anyway, so you could do that and pull off of all these different kits if you want to, and set up all you like to get crazy with it. So one of the things I did was, see, 6, I think I have some stuff already saved so we could see what this does, and this is what I recorded off of some of this stuff before. So that's what I did, just creating stuff off of a kit and using the microphone to get the bass line. Anyway, I think this has been a long enough video for everybody. I think it's informative enough to let you know what you can do with this. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Or if you're on Facebook, join the Roland TR-8S Facebook group. I'll have a link to it in the description. And as always, thanks for watching.